Well, hey there, it's Jen.
And Elke, welcome back to the Jen and Elke show, where we love talking about print on demand, strategy, and marketing. And that's why we want to review the Zazzle guide. It's something actually interestingly enough that we used to do because we would do the research and then we would post those guides for our clients. But now Zazzle actually does it. And so this is great. So now all we get to do is like a movie review where we go like, nah, we like that. No, we don't see that happening. And we actually give you the insider tips on what the guide said. So let's dive into it. This is the power of Zazzle. When you start to see these invitations, you go like, are you showing us stuff from Minted? Or are you showing us stuff from like really big fancy card companies? No, it's on Zazzle. And this is an untapped, unknown market. And we want you to really fully understand that this is an opportunity for you. And we have the expertise to help you get started as soon as possible with the least amount of obstacles in your way. Okay.
Okay, let's dive into the guide here for 2026. So you can Google this, and it's also on the Zazzle website. Obviously, they've posted in the forum and in your updates or news notifications, so you can find this easily, but you can also just Google graduation guide on Zazzle 2026.
We can put it down in the link below for sure.
Yeah. Okay, you want to start talking?
Oh, and just so you know, hover over one of the products and you'll see like little dots. It shows you, and this one, for example, is, first of all, not only one of our clients, but one of our coaches. And because she did so well, and she believes in our methods and our framework and strategy so much that she actually started working for us and is now a coach as well in our Profit by Design Academy. And she has about 4 different products that are featured here. So that's kind of the cool thing. Now, please don't copy her work. Don't copy any of these people's works because they worked really hard to create these designs. Do not, in like the scummy, weird people that decide, oh, look, there's a design here that's selling so well. All you have to do is go to AI and generate something similar and you'll make a bucket of money. Please do not listen to those people. These are people who have done a really good job of understanding the market and delivering on what's called the intentional product and the brief so that they can sell and be noticed and featured by Zazzle, right? And so when you click on those, they actually go right to the product. And the whole idea is that the Zazzle is marketing for you. You do not have to pay for this. Your designs, you pay for it in delivering on the design, and then you will get featured. Like this Kim Bellish is being featured. And it's not just her. There's multiple people on here. About anywhere from about 30 to 40% of the people that are being featured here as designers are all people that have come through our program that started out with zero and they started out as from scratch. And they have great, whether they're good designers or they learned how to become a good designer through our program, they're now being featured and selling on the Zazzle platform, which is so nice because we are here for you. We're in the trenches with you, doing that work to help you understand what your gifts are and how you can leverage them on the Zazzle platform. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you're in our next cohort, which we have open on April 6th on 2026. Okay, so we're going to go through the themes that Zazzle has presented, and we're going to give you some comments on them. Okay, so obviously when you see the guide, you have to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because they're also trying to make it fancy. So the grad club and, let's party, or I've mastered it. And so one of the things that you have to do is, this is a great place to start, but it's not the only place that you should research to make sure that you're not just wasting your time. Like, we're all about marketing and strategy. And so the strategy part is major profit, minimal effort, okay? As much as we want to have you do a really good job, we also want you to not spend hours and hours and hours doing something that is going to deliver great designs and then it doesn't pan out because the trend actually never took off, okay? So when it comes to these trends, make sure that you maybe pick a couple that we're going to go over, but it's not that we know for sure what's in the future, but we can give you our experience because we've been on the platform for 18 years. We've sold a lot of graduation designs ourselves, and we know that some trends just kind of disappear or fizzle out, even though maybe even at the beginning they start to sell. And so what you want to know is what's the breakdown. So some of them things that are being featured here, you can easily say this is classic evergreen, which is what we teach. So do that. But then something like Mastered It, for example, or Garden Party, or like now because of Taylor Swift, it's like My Era, which is fun, but that's going to go away. And Jen and I, like, for example, I made a graduation design in 2010. It actually didn't even start selling really well until 2012. Then it sold like several times a day. And then it kept selling for several times a day until 2019. So if you can see the power of like a Zazzle listing, which is free, and fully understand the power of your design if it's evergreen, then now you'll understand more about, like, should I go after this trend or should I focus on something that's evergreen? And so, yeah, like the Fiesta, the Era, the Retro Disco, the what's the other one? They call it the Grad Club, but they're talking about like beach scene, and they're mixing it in with whimsical. All of those are like tenuous, so it's like, let's try a few, but don't go crazy and say, oh, I did this because Jen and Elke featured this, and Zazzle made it the first choice, so it's got to sell. It's not the case, right? It could be, but it might not be. And so we just want to get clear on that before we go into each one. But let's start at the top. So and if you want to zoom in a little bit more, what we can do is, just get a better look at the designs themselves. Again, these are not examples that you can copy. These are people who are designers like yourself who are using the platform to sell, and it's their livelihood. So please do your own designs, but just take away the fact that if you say something about grad clubs, whether that be beach featured like this one is, or it's more of a like they're talking more cabana, but they're bringing in that whimsical character hand-drawn elements, which is trending. Will it take off? Who knows, right? It's a really big risk. And it's fun to do one or two of these, but I don't know if it'll take off. And you can chime in too if you want. And then the next one is black and white classic colors. And so I like that, but I don't like it that they didn't feature a black and white. They in fact featured a black and cream. And the cream means that it's not black and white. And that's a really big deal on the Zazzle platform. People want black and white, not black and cream. But you can offer black and cream if you want, but black and white, start there, okay? And then other classic colors. Now, what they're doing there is making this sound like it's a new thing and it's like a big deal, and like that's like this new fancy thing that they thought about, but it's not, because classic always sells, and especially classic school colors. So everyone knows, and if you don't, if you're new to grad, then definitely understand that you can't say like a school name or a university or college name and then the colors, use those colors. That's copyrighted because all of the colleges and universities have their own copyright. But you can just say burgundy and like gold, or you can say navy and green, or whatever the color combinations are that they have for classic school colors, because a lot of people do that. They are very loyal to their school or their university or college, and then they want to have that in the actual whole theme of the invitations that they're sending out as a party, for example. And so you can definitely research that a little bit more, because that's going to resonate with a lot of people and serve them when they're loyal to their school colors. And then also, if they're not loyal to their school colors, but they want something classic and timeless, yet a little bent or of interest, because like this particular design has really cool use of typography, using some classic text, but also some variation on it. It's very playful. And because of that, it's really fun. But it could be timeless because it's not really dating any particular font. They all look very nice together. And so this maybe could sell even 5-6 years from now. And that would be such a wonderful thing to have this sell. Like this is a napkin, but you can put this on an invitation as well. And hopefully then it'll sell year after year, because one of the things that's really difficult with graduation is that you're always trying to create something new because the year changes and also the themes change. But if you stay with something classic, then that's a better bet than most. I just went on a long talk. What
That's
do
okay.
you want to do? Do you want to do the garden party one?
Sure. Well, this one's kind of interesting because it's stemming a bit off of the wildflower theme, but it's actually not really the wildflowers that we've been seeing that have been trending. And I don't know if this is obviously somebody who just made this invitation maybe as a one-off, and then Zazzle picked this as a theme, because that's what's happened sometimes too, is that if you are new and upcoming in setting a trend on Zazzle, then they'll try to push it. However, I know that for weddings, for example, and also for bridal showers, and baby showers, there was that whole like fresh off the market or the garden theme or the market theme, and it kind of it brought in this sort of natural, the natural colors and a little bit more of the pastel vibes, and then also more of that daintiness feel as well. And so this is an interesting one, and especially because obviously people graduate most of the time during the springtime. I think that this is a fun one that you can definitely play around with. It is a theme and a trend that might go away or stay. I'm not too sure like what the prediction would be, but this is something that I would say it might be fun to invest some time into it, because it's very niched down, of course, but it's still following that wildflower theme, which was very popular last year. And then the mastered it. This is quite interesting because we were on one of our design sessions today with some of our clients, and one lady actually brought a mastered it graduation card to the reviews that we were doing, and so we were looking at it, and it's a trend for sure. And I mean, obviously, you are most likely targeting a person who's in university at this point in time when you're using this language, and also potentially targeting somebody who got their master's degree or even maybe a PhD, right? It's got a little bit more power to it. So knowing that this is for a group of people, and it's definitely not for high school people, I'm pretty sure, because of that language. But it's something that is also a trend. I think that it's going to be a very small niche for sure, because, for me, for example, personally, I potentially wouldn't want to get something that said mastered on it. It just seems so bold and brash. And I mean, not that it's boasting, but it's also like, it's just, that's the design. So you're basically playing around with text-based designs here. And I personally don't even really like the look of it, to be honest. I would much prefer something that looks a little bit more dainty or pretty like that. And so definitely you can do more of a feminine version using those words, but it's just that the whole thing together, when you read a word over and over and over again and it doesn't make sense, or say when you say the word fork over and over again, fork, like it doesn't make sense. So when I look at that, it almost is like that sort of resonates with me. I don't know, that's my opinion. Don't take it personally. But I think that it's sort of a very small niche trend that not everybody is going to want to have those words on their graduation invitation.
So that first line, we basically picked one out of the four. Okay, so then let's go into the next one. Actually, no, two, because you like the flowers. Okay, yeah. But I like more what's happening with the grad party, let's party. So like you can almost group, like it looks like flowers, but it's actually like little swirly things. I don't know if you can screen it.
It looks like ribbons or something, swirly ribbons. Oops. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah, but it's the same theme. Whether you stick some swirls in the back or you stick flowers in the back, it's the same sort of thing, right? But what I do see, and I think that that's a trend for sure, is that we're seeing a lot more pink for the graduation. This started way back, like 5-6 years ago, but I think the blush pink, is solidly in the grad space. So that's a good thing to understand, and you can work with that and give sort of an opportunity to make it not school colors, which is what initially was always the case. And then, so do you have anything else to say about the grad party one?
No, but I think that definitely the trend has been more so going towards these light pink colors, which I quite like. Obviously, that's more for the feminine side, and it's not for everybody. But I think that this is really cool, and also just the script fonts that they've chosen. It's not technically, the handwritten whimsical, but there's elements in there. So I really like this design. I think it's quite fun. And although it does have, let's say, like they've called it a theme, but I mean, I've had so many, like, it's just a party, right, in general. So this one you can play around with very much. It's not sort of like where you have to stay so consistent to the theme, which like Mastered It or Garden Party. The description is simple, colorful, and full of celebration. Let's Party embraces bold tones, confetti accents, and iconic cap and gown graphics. So playful sayings like the tassel was worth the hassle and she did it, keeping it light and fun. So there's so many different, and this is Kim's again, our coach from our Profit by Design Academy. There's so many things that you can be a little bit more liberal with, right, and play around with in this theme. So I think that's fun. And there's so many different sayings. Like, for example, I had one that was really popular when I was working on my own graduation invitations that said, "Let's celebrate the graduate." And that was one of my best sellers for the graduation. So that's a fun one that you can play around, definitely, in that theme. Then the retro disco. It's interesting because disco or retro has been in trending with graduation. It was in last year. It was in with, bridal shower and weddings even. And so we've seen those retro style fonts and those colors. Obviously, this person, whoever created this, has a background that really accentuates that the fact that it's pink and orange and disco balls are included, but it's actually not. It's just this font here. And so you don't actually have to physically have a disco ball on your design, but just the whole retro feel. This one I would suggest that you should get into if you haven't yet, because I think that you can capitalize on the fact that it's still popular. Or is retro going to be popular next year? I don't know. But I think also people are feeling quite nostalgic because a lot is changing with technology in the last couple of months and years, and just things are getting to be a lot more tech-based. And so people are going back to those simpler times when everything was just, not so heavy and so complicated and so tech-oriented. And so I feel like, for me, I actually resonate with this. And although I wasn't born in the 70s or 80s, I was born in the 90s. And so when I see something that's related to 90s nostalgia, like, I feel it, I understand it. And so people, might be seeing that. However, that being said, it is a trend for people who are younger to go back and actually listen to music from older generations and watch movies. The weird thing is that my partner has 2 teenage daughters, and I went to a volleyball practice or a volleyball tournament last weekend, and every single one of them was singing 2 songs that I sung when I was their age. And they knew all the lyrics, and they were like pumping this music while they were doing their warm up. And I was like, why do you guys know, Shania Twain and Eminem and, who else was popular back, 15, 20 years ago? So even the teenage people who are, but this would maybe resonate with somebody who's graduating from high school, potentially. It's not as, formal as a university invitation or graduation announcement, that they would definitely resonate with this. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are going back to those older years for sure.
Yeah. And as you can see too, there's not just invitations here. Zazzle has a lot of really cool products, napkins, like the graduation caps. They have posters, foam core board. I always say foam core, the foam boards, and and postcards. All of that is possible for you when you sign up for a free account on Zazzle. And so you can see the breadth and depth of how you can set up a whole series of products in various different design themes, because we're just looking at the design themes right now. And even here, Zazzle's not only showing invitations, but obviously even when you say welcome to, and you've got the Fiesta theme, you can make that as an invite or and then that's the other fun thing. Zazzle, graduation can be a announcement. It can be a thank you. It can be a announcement / party, or it can just be a party invite. So you have all of these different ways that you can even use the stationery options to create products that are for different uses. And so here we're using the Taylor Swift era saying, but it's actually being used on a grad cap. This is not an invitation. This is actually the topper. And so that's really fun to be able to use all of these different products. And I think that's still definitely one of the trends I would go for, because I think it's going to last a while. Taylor Swift has such an impact. So you're basically up-branding to her brand that she created with the Era Tour, and go for it. Like, I would say that's a yes. I just have to be careful because you can't say Taylor Swift, and you can't, like, you have to really be careful about copyright, okay? Because if she's done this well with her tour and her brand, she might have lawyers that have copyrighted a lot of this stuff. So be careful, because you can have people come and, take your stuff down. Okay. And yeah, and pretty much this whole row is it is actually all of our clients. Yeah. Oh no, special stationery it isn't. I thought she was too, but yes. Okay. Keep
here.
going.
Okay. And,
Fiesta, yeah.
Fiesta. So I've been working with, this is Cava Party Design. Her and I have been working together. She's not currently working with us right now, but this is a pattern that she did for her wedding invitations, and her wedding invitations became really popular using this terracotta rustic theme. And so I mentioned that she could use this for other products as well. And so she definitely originated with this. This is her original design that she created. It's not something that, people have been playing around with. She's been trying to get this to go kind of viral. So I'm really glad that it's featured here on the graduation guide, which is really neat. And so it's just a really cool rustic theme, right? And it has that terracotta color or the burnt orange color in the background. Then it's got this really cool motif here with all of the different florals. It's kind of like that folk art trend that was going on previously, but it also has elements of, like, I want to say it relates to people because it feels very rustic, right? Yeah. And especially in the, sorry?
It speaks to like a lot of like culture, right?
Yes, it doesn't. Definitely. I was just about to say she's from originally from Mexico. And so she has sort of this like Spanish roots in her. And so it speaks to that sort of it's culturally, right? Different cultures. So it's something that is definitely trending. And I'm really happy for her. So for that, for example, this is a very special one. So because everything else kind of you can create with your own different graphics and different text or font choices, this one here, please don't copy. This is not something that's supposed to be all sound like, oh, we're going to go and now copy this exact sort of motif and floral arrangements. No, this is hers. So make your own if you were to go into this niche. However, just take that with a grain of salt, that like you have to make something that looks very different because it is her proper copyright, right? But here it says vibrant graduation fiesta themed, custom signage, colorful, excuse me. It says it's in Spanish. So papel picado details and warm rustic accents that bring energy, personality, and festive flair to the big day. Okay. Now we have one more row here.
Yes. And this is kind of fun because, so Zazzle is also like just looking for, we don't know, we don't work for Zazzle. We don't know exactly what Zazzle thought when they put this together, but it's pretty clear that there's certain things that are trending in other areas like 4th of July or wedding or bridal shower, baby shower. And they are like trying to see if it'll work in the other niches, i.e. graduation. And so that's where the pink bow comes in, and also the barbecue and the yeehaw. And what's the other one that's over a little bit more? Can you move the screen just a little bit over? What other one? Careers. Okay. So, and the careers one makes sense because we've been coaching people to do careers for like 7 years. And so it's good that it's finally getting recognized, because there are a lot of people on the that come to Zazzle that want very specific specialized designs for anyone who's graduating from all the career-based like colleges, and we're in Canada. So if in Canada, colleges are more for like professions, and then there's the PhD and the doctor type degrees that you have to go to university for. But in the States, it's all college-ish. and like in terms of the terminology. But so it depends on where everything comes from. So be careful if you're designing and you're an international designer, make sure that you're clear on, because like how you set up the card and how you set up all the like text and templates, and also how you label it, because the majority of the people that buy on Zazzle are from the States. And so you want to get used to that. That's why Jen and I had to get used to understanding where do people graduate from to get X degree, and then what do they call their degrees if it's different than what is in our, your country and our country, for example, because we're in Canada. But yes, it's such a really important niche right now, and so definitely get into the careers one, but educate yourself on what to do, because otherwise you're just going to fall flat on your face. I can guarantee you that, because it needs to be done right. You can't just go like, oh, I have this, design for the RN, and if that's not the RN design, and that's actually the like the physiotherapy design, like the wings and the or if it's the like the MD design for the doctor, if you don't have that right, you're cooked. And so we don't want that. Okay, let's move back to the fun, trendy, girly bow barbecue thing. So, and you may have noticed too that there's only two themes here that contribute to guy invitations, and or any sort of grad for gentlemen. The thing that's really important is that a lot of, I think the male gender kind of gets lost in this graduation mix, because the demand isn't as much as the female. Okay, but I've had some really good male designs, because, as I said, it's not as popular per se, so people don't put as much effort in as a designer. And so if you put the effort in and you make really good designs for males, the demand is out there. And that's part, like, we're just giving that to you as a little bonus here if you've watched our video all the way to the end, because definitely don't forget them. Okay. And then, the other ones, go for it. If you'd like to do Western or pink or barbecue, it's just a theme. Will it be a theme that's trending in a year from now? Who knows? And yeah, so they're up to you as to whether you go into them. And that's the last of the themes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So obviously by the banner on the bottom of this video, you can see that we're talking about the graduation guide from Zazzle and the 2026 update. And this section, we are going to be doing product and design trends that are happening in 2026, because we want to break it down. It's a big guide, and so we don't want to overwhelm you with lots of information all at once. So this is our second part of this sort of series and going through the graduation guide on Zazzle. So you can Google this. This is something easy to find. Just put in graduation guide Zazzle 2026, or go into the information. You know how you get those updates from Zazzle through your creator insights or whatnot in the back end. You can go through that or find it on the forum.
As with each one of these guides, we love that Zazzle's doing this now, because we used to do this for our clients, and Zazzle's finally gotten to the point where they're putting the time and effort in and doing a great job. However, sometimes what we what we add as value here is we're not just reading off the guide, we're giving you our intel and our insider information, which is the wisdom. So it's the one thing that you can't find anywhere else, is the wisdom that came from us working with our clients, us doing graduation designs ourselves and selling them for the last 18 years. And then you can take that wisdom and hopefully make it work in your store.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And obviously, if you can't, but you want our guidance, then there's opportunities for you to work with us that you should check out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's dive into this first row here. So you can see that it's product and design trends. So primarily we focused on invitations in our previous video, but there are so many other product types that can be included in the graduation niche. So it's not just limited to invitations. However, most of these products that are showcased here are invitations, because you either have a graduation announcement or a graduation party invitation. And so those two are different popular invitation trend, let's call them, like the actual product design, but we'll see some extra products in here that are not related to invitations. However, this row is all invitations right now. Okay, so the first one is modern minimalist designs. And we saw that trend through the wedding season as well. And it's something that's been throughout graduation multiple years back. When I first started out on Zazzle, when I started making my own graduation invitations, this was a big thing too. So basically having a photo, an eye-catching photo that sort of sets the scene, and then obviously playing around with your font types. And actually the modern minimalist designs are probably the harder ones to actually design, because you are very limited with just text and photo basically. So you want to make sure that you choose a really attractive photo, attractive being, it's a photo that people can relate to, or it's close up, right? You can see the person's face. You're choosing a photo that sets the scene. So obviously maybe this photo here, this is a young girl. So if that's whether it be high school or college or university, making sure that the picture actually makes sense with the product that you're trying to sell. Obviously, the the customers are going to be changing this photo to their own, but just choosing a really good photo makes it all the difference. Okay. And then also the font choices.
And, this is a design style that's been around forever. So obviously you're not going to copy this person, but they're using that era theme as well, because they're doing senior era. But yeah, this was something that Jen and I started doing way back in 15 years ago. It's nothing new, but the newness is the style of font that they chose and what they're doing with it. Cleverly enough, and I don't know if they're going to get away with this, Moodthology, is they've actually got the word Taylor and then they've got senior era. So they're really pushing the connection between Taylor Swift. Okay, so I don't know, but anyway, we'll see what happens. But
yeah, next one is scallop details. So this is a trend that's coming back into fashion. Zazzle incorporated the scalloped themed, or the scallop style for invitations many years back, and that was popular back then. We haven't seen scallop in a while, so this is an interesting one. And interestingly enough, they chose this design too. It's funny, personally, the contrast between the stripes and then the pink scallop border, it's a bit interesting. So yeah, play around with scallops if you want to, if it's something that's up and coming, but make sure that it looks nice and cohesive. And write these color choices also that they've chosen. It's pink and green. And so, yeah, just this one is a little bit interesting.
And that's from a really popular designer, but it's really strange that she's picked something where the person doesn't look too happy. Yeah. So be careful with these kinds of designs. But yeah, let's see what happens. The scallop is always sort of when someone throws in a design style that might start trending, but maybe not will like it. And this is one of those things where scallops can either be a total hit or a total miss. So just don't rely only on scallop.
And scallop is kind of limiting because it's more so just connected to borders and barriers, right? And so you have to be a little bit inventive when it comes to using the scallops for sure. Then we have photo-centric announcements. It's really funny because this one here is not a new theme or a new trend.
No.
Photos have been around. Definitely a lot more people are doing photo collages. So incorporating more than one photo in your invitation. And I really like how this background is actually not equal, and it's sort of this really cool collage that they've created.
Like yearbook. Like I used to be a yearbook editor, and that really does look yearbook edited kind of.
Yeah, and
it's just perfect. It's really good design.
I think they've also done a really great job at doing the front. I love how the 2026 is great. There's a gradient underneath and it goes over top of the photo. Like we always say when we're reviewing these products and going through the guides, please don't copy any of these products, right? This is a design that obviously somebody spent a lot of time and effort curating and creating. And so please don't copy. The one thing that I want to say about photo grids like this, though, is that you are determining how many photos somebody has of a person who's graduating, right? And or the sizing of those photos. And so we've got two portrait size photos here. We kind of have, it is kind of a landscape, but it's more on the squarish side. And this is like a half portrait size. So just make sure that obviously when you're choosing these collage sizes for the photos, that, it would be easy for the customer to, first of all, have that amount of photos that they want to upload, and then also have the sizing and have the images fit in there. Okay. He says you're always rolling the dice with collages because maybe somebody only has one photo or maybe they only have 3. And so if there's, this is 5 photos. And so if they don't have 5 photos to input into the invitation, then it won't be applicable to them, even though it's a really, really cool design, right? Then we have metallic foil, and this is obviously using the foil invitations on Zazzle. And so it is a very popular design. Foil is popular for all occasions, especially Christmas as well. And so graduation, I think people will spend the extra money to do the foil upgrade because obviously this is a special event when somebody's graduating and they might include that in their budget. So foil you can play around with and have so much fun using it as for all of your text on your invitation or portions of your text, doing certain elements and design, like, I want to say details to put on top of the gold foil. And so, yeah, you can definitely kind of have fun
put on top of the photo.
Yeah. On the photo, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to say, though, the way they've got their cover image set, it looks like maybe the back of the card is that foil, but it probably isn't. So yeah, just be careful as to how you position.
Well, you can't put the
exactly.
You can't put the foil on the back.
I know.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next one here. We've got the arch silhouette. And so this is a big one. I'm so happy that Zazzle introduced the arch shaped style of invitation, and people are playing around with that, which is really cool. This design is also really neat. I love how people are playing around with these overlays and having the words appear on top of the photos in a specific way rather than just putting text on top.
Or like with the gradient overlay.
Or with the gradient overlay. Yeah. So this is a really beautiful design. And then once again, just playing around with the collage size photos, make sure that you have enough or make sure that you have the right sizes or an amount of photos. And I would even do different variations or versions. Yeah. And I love the color schemes. This like touching point on this, I think we talked about this in the last video for graduation. This sort of soft pastel pink is really coming into trend.
And that's not even a pink. It's more of a like a cream or
cream or maybe sorry, I'm like sideways on the computer
or something. Yeah,
it's a really nice soft design though.
Oh my gosh, and it's Kim's again. Yes. Okay.
This is one of our coaches for our Profit by Design Academy. She was one, still is kind of a current student of ours and also a coach. Okay, then we have the what's called squiggle hand drawn motifs, but we've seen
which is interesting because it's normally called whimsical hand drawn. Yeah. Where did the word squiggle come from?
I don't know. Squiggle. But this one was a trend from last year, and we saw this definitely for bridal shower and weddings as well. And it's now almost been a year because I know that people were making graduation invitations with this last year as well. And so clearly this trend is still kicking, which is really fun. I quite like it. It's like that sort of rustic, raw, but also elegant at the same time. Yeah, I don't know how you really describe it, but it's fun. I like this trend that's happening with the hand-drawn design. Now we get into these ones where sometimes Zazzle inputs, like they've obviously done research on external blogs and things like that.
I know, with this drink thing.
And so there isn't actually a product that they could potentially find, I'm assuming, on Zazzle. And
well, because it's all related to trademarked brands, which they're not allowed to do.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, so embracing playful drink stations. So I'm not too sure what they're trying to get you to do here, whether that be create signs for the table placemats and where you have your drink bar and you also have your candy bar and things.
What else does it say?
It just says interactive stations with customized drinks. So when you're doing this, obviously this is a little bit of a misleading picture because clearly you can't make a sign that says Coke recipes and use the Coca-Cola can. So being aware of that, but definitely, we've seen it with weddings. We've seen it with graduations where people make extra products on the signs. And so you can have a sign that says, the signature cocktail or whatnot. So this is not a new theme or a new trend, but it is something different that they're putting in for graduation. But yeah, just be very wary of that. Then we've got the QR codes. And so this is kind of a fun thing, sort of relating to these table signs here, where you can use QR codes to, as you see here, to donate to the college fund or use it to,
collect photos.
Yeah. So being playful with the QR codes and having them on signs so that it can add to the experience of the event. This is most likely for, obviously, a graduation party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
striped patterns are making a return. See, this is one of the reasons why we go through these. It's like, okay, thanks for letting us know, as if we don't know that already. But what I like is that there's a variation in terms of the stripe combination of colors and how they're using the stripes, right? Most of the time we use the stripes on the back, and I love that they've got this one featured here where a lot of it's focused on the stripe on the front part of the invitation. It's very clever. Please don't copy this wonderful woman here who made this design up. It's very original. But yes, bring your own take to the stripes in terms of colors and also how you use them.
Okay, then what's this one here? Personal accomplishment focused touch to graduation gifts by featuring the graduations
like
or the graduate's degree.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
That's one of the things that's so fun on the Zazzle platform is the personalization, right? You're not just uploading some sort of random AI generated image. You're literally allowing people to put something up that's going to be personalized once they get it. So in this case, it's the label for the whatever you want to, like here it's champagne, but you can put it on any bottle that's a homemade alcoholic drink and create that uniqueness of it, right? This is now like a wine or a champagne specific for this occasion. And that is memorabilia, even if you start drinking it. Okay.
That's a fun one. Okay. Then we have a reminder to incorporate graduation years. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's a funny one. I'm not too sure if
that's this is actually bringing up a really important aspect of on Zazzle, but one of the downsides is that you can't they used to have this option, but they've sort of pulled it back a bit because it's too hard to police everything. But there used to be an option where you could edit a design that was already selling. So something like Jen and I, we had I had one that said graduation 2012, and it was selling in 2020, almost in 2020 still. And that was 8 years later, and I couldn't change it from 2012 to 2020. And then they, around, 2023, they instituted the option to edit.
Yeah.
But it took forever for Zazzle staff to get their approval to bring it back to you. And by that time, it was a waste. So it was always this balance of us having to make the actual product for the year that we're trying to sell it in. But then they came out with this wonderful thing where they go put the 20XX in there, and it's like, why? The whole idea is to show them how the numbers look for the year that they're trying to purchase it for. And so it's for the seller, it's a little bit more work. And also if your 2026 product takes off, but then it's outdated in 2027, there's no way to get that history back for that listing to be able to say, okay, it'll sell in 2027 because it's still popular, but it really isn't because it's not 2027. And so it is a dilemma. And a word of advice: do both.
It's the one downside of it, because I personally don't like doing the 20XX because then it doesn't make it look good for me anyway, personally. And then doing the 2026 or whatnot, previous years, I actually did 2020, when it was 20,
all kinds of,
all years out. I do that with my wedding invitations as well. But if it was 2022, for example, I would put 2030. However, I stopped doing that because it's not, people want to see it visually for that year. And for whatever reason, even though this is a really beautiful design, imagine this had 2025 on it. All of a sudden it has a timestamp on it, and then you're like, oh, that's outdated, even though the design can be changed by the customer and it is still relevant, right? And so graduation, for that reason, is a little bit more work. But to be honest, I still sell some graduation invitations that I made in previous years, and people still they'd buy it for the design. But if you're making new designs and not selling your old ones, you're making them fresh today or this month while you're watching this, then I would highly suggest doing the 2026, obviously.
And make it a template if you can.
Yes, definitely. And then this last one here, make your graduation collections even more personal by incorporating occupation-specific designs. So law school, it's quite fun. I mean,
I know we've taught this for years. So yeah, it's just people forget that there's all these other options out there depending on your experience with graduating people in your family, you may not know that all these things are an option, right? But yeah.
Yeah. So, and these are great because this helps you niche down, right? And although not everybody is graduating from law school, but there are a lot of people that graduate from law school. And
Absolutely.
so if they want to have something specific to nursing school, to law school, to whatever it may be,
Anything.
business school, then they can find that, right? And then it's special to them. Okay, so then the next one we have here are statement backdrops and fabric signs. This is a kind of a cool one because obviously they're brother or sister and they're celebrating two people. I wouldn't recommend doing that design all the time because not everybody's going to be graduating together or twins. But, this is a cool take on it because what we have seen in previous years where people have a backdrop where they can take like selfies and things, but this is actually a banner showcasing the graduate in a larger form. We have, a lot of our clients who we've helped them create banners for the lawn signs and the flag banners. But to be honest, unless you tell me.
We have a lot of people.
Yeah. So, but this is a cool concept. You can do it either selfie style. So it's supposed to be a backdrop to take pictures of. And then you can even add like a QR code to a banner as well and say, hey, submit your photo here or whatnot. You can have a lot of fun around this one.
Yes.
It's a very inventive idea, definitely. Then we have station signs. So make a flower bouquet bar. This is interesting because this for me it seems more like a wedding thing rather than anything. I don't know if they've taken that from.
Maybe not the best choice of an example there.
But that kind of goes back to the signs that we saw at the beginning.
Drink and
make
stuff.
the drink. Yeah.
Then
newspaper graduation invitations. And this is an interesting one because it's cool. I like it. And I've worked with some of my students to create newspaper wedding invitation designs as well. But personally, I'm not like super attracted to it because I don't know. It's obviously a very small niche, right? And you have to have, normally it's a black and white photo. Like you have to really set the tone for it because if you don't make it look like a newspaper, then you're not hitting the mark. And unfortunately, no one's going to buy your product. But this is a cool kind of theme that is up and coming, but it's not for everyone. I think it's a lot of work. And I think a lot more people actually really enjoy like this type of stuff as well. Because it's a very formal, and
it could also be that this they're showcasing this as like a download, which might mean it's actually even and downloads on Zazzle that you can do foam boards or invitation like flat cards. But if it's an invitation, it might have even more on the back. Or it might be one of those that's the trifold. And those aren't downloads though. But if you want to know where to start and where to stop with regards to this, right? This might not be enough because you're trying to do the theme, but then you're missing out on all the pieces of the theme, which are, you'd expect some more information, like maybe some history about, like a baby picture and medium, like a
whole story, not just this looks just like a flyer announcement or something, but you'd want to have like an article to go with it. And so I think that would be included hopefully as well. Okay, then we have excuse me, posters that showcase their photos, milestones, and standout achievements. That's a nice one. Yes, definitely.
Been working with our clients on doing those for years and years.
And then we have welcome signs. Obviously, those have been a big thing for graduations before. And then we have this one's a fun one, and this one actually has been popular for the last couple of years because I've seen it come up quite often. But this one here where you have capture memories from the big day with autograph posters. And so if you see even this one here, is it actually the original one has, just really quickly. So the original one actually has the writing on it.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because her cover photo. So yes.
And actually that's something that we want to really point out is, if this is going to be a helpful hint, is listen, you have to explain that, right? You don't want them to think that this is what they're going to get. Go ahead.
Nope, that was about it. So I wanted to make sure that they had. So if you're going to make something like this with an autograph board, then make sure that you leave it blank so that people can actually write on it as well. Okay. And then we've got advice and wish cards, which is fun. This is a new one.
It's a new one, yeah. And it might go over well. Yeah, might be fun.
Make sure that you have it on the right type of card as well. And she's got it as an invitation. Let's just quickly go in here and look to see what size these are. It's actually the 5x7, which is interesting. So you're selling, that's a big card for, yeah. Okay. Well, cool. I've never seen anything actually like that before. I was assuming, based on actually her cover photo too, it's a bit misleading. It makes it look like there's the small little like gift tag size. And so,
or just a 3.5x2.
Like, yeah. Or an accommodation
3.5 by 5x5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all of them for this one here. For the before we get into the other sections of the the graduation guide here. I'm going to stop screen share. So you can take whatever you like from our advice. Sometimes we're a little bit like, everything in the guide that you see is not everything that you should do. The graduation guide is a little bit different than the wedding invitation guide because there's a lot more like random themes and things like that. But definitely because we covered the product types. Okay, we saw invitations, we saw the foam boards, we saw banners, we saw what else did we see? A lot of the signs, like the posters and things, but there's so many more products for graduations that you can create. I would highly suggest that you make napkins. Napkins were one of my biggest bestsellers for graduations because people buy them for their parties. Elke sold a lot of the grad cap hats. Then there's
the fans.
The fans, yeah. And then there's other products that are even related to the like gift giving to the graduate. So if you wanted to, there's mugs and photo plaques and all of these little kind of keepsake type things that are really important as well. And so
ornaments.
Yeah. Ornaments. Yes, that's definitely.
I know. So I'm like, we're just throwing a lot of stuff out there because listen, I think out of the $165 million worth of products that we've helped our clients sell, I think about a third of that is all related to grad stuff. Like, because we've done really a lot of work with people for grad. So get on in this market and give it a shot.
Yes.
Come and join us too if you want to get the inside scoop and the leg up so that you don't have to try it all by yourself first. And today's video is really important because there are a lot of products for the graduation niche that Zazzle offers. And you might just be making a lot of stuff without making that money back. And we love being strategically profitable. And because of that, let's go into the popular products to sell so that you don't waste time and make the most money.
Okay, so you can search for this easily on Google or find it on the Zazzle website. It's the graduation guide for 2026. And like Elke mentioned, we have filmed 2 other videos covering the trending themes and also scrolling down just the product and design trends. So if you haven't watched those videos, after watching this video, you can go back and look at those. And we discuss obviously all of these things that we're scrolling past here. So we're going to get down to the bottom part of this guide. So we have the more popular themes and designs and products. You can definitely read all of this. I'm not going to read it out to you. But when it comes to the themes, I just want to have you take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt because there are some really, really specific topics here. Like, for example, milk and cookies, talk about a future tropical fiesta pool party. Like some of them are just very out there and okay, maybe there might be like fun little cool things that people are starting to, come up with as these ideas, but really truthfully, they're not going to be profitable. You're going to spend a lot of time creating those designs and then they're unfortunately not going to sell as much because they're so niched down. Okay. So just take that with a grain of salt. But then when it comes to the colors and the degrees and the occupants, you can actually get a lot of information out here because occupants, you can get a lot of information out of this because you might not be in the graduation space, for example, or maybe you graduated a long time ago and you're not too whatever it may be. Maybe you just don't know all of the terminology or even the different type of occupations that you can kind of target and market for. And so that's really a good thing to go through. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to scroll down to the must-have products for graduation, and we're going to go through each one of these, but then they might actually have other products that are enlisted here that maybe Elke and I, after we go through these, will give you suggestions on because we have been on the Zazzle space for a long time, and we have coached people since 2007 teen. And so we know what we've worked with a lot of clients who are very successful in the graduation niche. To get to there, we've told them all of our secrets. So we might give you some more information on what to focus on as well if they're not listed here.
And I was just saying, like we say, we've been on there for a long time, but we forget to say that we've also made a lot of money,
yes,
from graduation. Yeah. So yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so we're gonna just zoom in here, but it's not talking about the design so much per se. We're going through the actual product types.
Just the product types, yeah.
Yeah, so the first one is announcements. This is a big one. Invitations and announcements are very important. If you're not making those, then you're not going to, you're leaving money on the table, literally, because that's the most popular product that people will go for in the beginning. Like that's the one staple. And then all of a sudden, all the extra products are more that they're like accessories or addition tos or like special things, but announcements and invitations are definitely something that you should go for.
And you know what? It's kind of fun because the grad space has announcements. It even has save the dates. It has the invitations. It has thank you cards. And as you can see here, enclosure cards. And yes, they can all serve, like all of these different paper types can serve each of those like types of services. And some might have more of a specific product type associated with them, but you can mix and match. So you can have enclosure cards, and they can be even business cards that people add as a little extra as an enclosure card within the invitation, or they can be full on like bigger 5x7 flat card or a little bit of smaller flat card as an enclosure card. So it's a lot of opportunity. And also even something like the announcements and invitations and the thank you cards can be flat cards. They can be postcards. They could be magnets, that flat card magnets. So many different ways that you can send out these items that serve a certain purpose. So it's fun to be able to just go into all of those.
Yes. And when it comes to announcements and invitations, do your research to figure out what actually goes on those cards, because there is a certain format for that. And if you're missing that format, then unfortunately, you're not going to be able to compete within that market because it's very specific.
And as it says, there's select creators right now on the Zazzle platform that have been given permission to do letterpress designs. And so Zazzle's working just with the gold foil. Letterpress is coming up, which means that Zazzle is becoming more and more like equal with Minted in terms of, and also high-end stationery designers, that we are basically, as designers on the platform, can do these types of things and offer these for our customers and clients. For us right now, we are not able to, but some of the...
Interesting. Well, yeah. I just clicked on it and I'm trying to go on the card, but then it redirects me to, or it was redirecting me to an address label. There we go. Now I can see that. So yes, letterpress card. Yeah.
And even here, like, I know that this is a letterpress card, but it's not even using the letterpress that like significantly. But it's coming in, right? It's really exciting to be able to offer that as well. For anyone who's a hardcore invitation designer, they really understand the significance of that. Yeah, some of our clients who sell personalized stationery to brides and like physically, we're just like floored by this option. Like they're so happy that it's going to start coming into place. Yeah.
Okay, so we did speak about thank you cards and then the enclosure cards. Enclosure cards is an interesting one because it's like a different size card, and whether that be sort of the purpose for this thing. So this one here, it says we'll be playing soccer in the fall, so you can donate to him if you want to. So you can play around with what the enclosure card would be as the purpose. But this one here, I think, is a little bit less like to focus on rather than the invitations for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you cards are a big thing as well. So definitely having
Absolutely.
those. Then we have the return address labels. These are in correspondence with the stationery. And so having that available in your collection with all your invitations or your announcements is a good idea. Same with envelopes. And then we have wax seals. Do you still have to be and get the approval to be a wax seal?
Well, yeah, you just have to ask for it. Yeah.
And then we have envelope seals. This is
it's just a fancy word for stickers.
Yeah, a fancy word for a sticker. And then we have the return address stamps, the self-inking stamp there. Then that's all the stuff that's related to stationery. And then we're moving into party and celebration. So welcome signs. Party signs and banners. So this is the big banner here. That's the more expensive, the retractable banner. Definitely do paper napkins. One of my best sellers in graduation, apart from the invitations, were napkins, and they're a lucrative opportunity. Then there's the backdrops and fabric signs. Then we have the yard signs. Those are a big one because a lot of people like putting the sign out on their front lawn to celebrate the graduate. Favor tags.
And when we get into some of these things, it's not as lucrative, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, these ones, like, okay, so maybe we'll tell people in terms of like what you should maybe focus on. Favor tags, I mean, yes, definitely, but that's somebody who's maybe you're giving a gift to the people who attended your party, and so maybe that's not something that people are investing in. Then we have the bunting flag. So I've tried to make the bunting flags, and I haven't really sold any of those previously. The tabletop signs, yes, definitely. We're speaking about that in the themes that we did in the other videos for the graduation guide. Paper plates are a big one. Paper cups, definitely. Confetti, I don't know. It just seems like you're just throwing money at
2 votes for that one.
Yeah. The bottle labels, definitely. Then you have your stickers, favor boxes.
Yeah, but balloons, yes.
Balloons, yes. Autograph posters.
Yes.
This is interesting.
This
is Kim. Like we've seen her name pop up so many places.
She's one of our Profit by Design Academy experience graduates.
Yeah.
Talking about graduation.
Yeah. Guest books are a big one. The favor bars and sweets. I've made them personally. I haven't sold very many, but that's just like an extra. You know, some of these things there's the staples that people need for the stationery, and then when it comes to the design or the decorations and the additives, you have to kind of like weigh your bets there and see where you can really want to focus in on your time. The graduation topper is a big one. Can coolers, definitely.
Kim again. Oh my gosh, I didn't do that. I didn't do that on purpose. Yeah, no, but there's a whole bunch of other people that we have taught here as well, but I'm not going to give away everybody. But yes, okay, go ahead.
Can coolers is a big one. The candy favors, the buttons, so tablecloth, the table runner, like these are all extras, right?
Yeah.
They're just trying to push it because they want you
to
sell those things.
Yeah.
So gifts and other grad products, these are a big one as well, because you're either gift giving it to the person who's graduating, or you're giving it to the people who may be attending your party. So clothing, calling cards. I don't know, like that's not a gift, and I don't really know what the purpose of this one would be. Let's just go and click on this for a second.
It's kind of like if I don't know, some people do these as a way to get like employment, but
I see.
Yeah.
Drinkware, ornaments are a big one. Photo blocks, definitely. Then we have plaques, the pennants, blankets, notebooks, tote bags, the candles. That's an interesting one.
I don't know about the notepads, but yeah.
Yeah. Canvas prints. So,
and I don't know about the blankets.
I don't know. I would, if you would have, I don't know if I would want to have a blanket that had my face on it. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Well, especially like where you can't give it to the grad person because they're going to be so embarrassed to take that to the dorm. But anyway, yes, maybe the grandparents want a blanket like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then that's it.
And then that's it here. And then we just go into the best-selling practices really quickly. So make sure that you have all of your templates proper so that easily customizable by the customer. You want to have themed collections. So if you have groupings of products, so let's say, for example, you make an invitation and then your address label and an envelope, and then you also do a theme for all of the decorations, put them all in a collection because you want to be able to have them all together, and then make a variety of different products, obviously stickers, invitations, envelopes, all of the things that we just went through. And those are the best practices. Make sure you have good titles and tags, definitely share on social media, and then make a cover photo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we help with all of those things in our Profit by Design Academy.
I didn't see that. Just checking. Okay, that is hopefully very helpful for you. You want to take us out here?
Sure. Well, if you're interested in learning more, because now you're like, okay, I have all these ideas for graduation invitations, but where do I start? Or how do I even organize everything? Or what do I do? What do I focus on? Well, we want to invite you into our Profit by Design Academy experience, which is now open for enrollment. And you can click the link in the description below, which is elkeclarke.com/start and scale. And we won't specifically be focusing in on all graduation stuff, but we will be helping you understand the concepts of how to create those designs, like the text-based design, the photo-based design, and then also designs that include graphics. And we will be helping you with all of those things, including titles and tags. So now that you've got all this information for graduation, like how do I start? Where do I begin? The Profit by Design Academy is where you begin if you are able to join us. And it's open for enrollment right now, and we would love to have you in that experience.
Yes, and we have another cohort starting on April 6th. 2026. That is going to be the time where we work together with you for a whole month to implement and get you to make 100 products that are evergreen products that you can sell on the Zazzle platform. And as Jen said, all of the things that you need in order to learn how to design all the nice products we just covered is in the Profit by Design Academy.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in that experience. Bye.